Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast. Before we get going, just a little bit about myself. My name is Matthew Young. I am a college student at Concordia University, and I've always kind of had questions about purpose and vocation, and so I thought I would invite my dad along with us to kind of further delve into these topics and understand them in this podcast.
I'm Phillip Young, Matthew's dad. I am a pastor for 20 years. And so I'm really interested in talking about issues that people have, especially issues of guidance. Just to give you a little bit more about me, I'm a Lutheran pastor, and quick sketch on Lutheranism, we believe that the Bible is the inspired, inerrant Word of God. And so I come at things from a biblical worldview, that there is truth, and we're not just awash in some gray area. There is guidance, and so I'm excited about trying to apply God's truth and see how we can talk about things.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what I mentioned before. Kind of the purpose of this is there's a lot of people that weigh in on what is true, what is my purpose in life, what's the meaning, even different vocational preferences or ideas people say. And so I've read a lot of books about it, and the Bible obviously, and trying to kind of distinguish between what is good and what's not. And so it's definitely difficult to kind of go through that. And so again, kind of the purpose of this is for me to go through with my dad and kind of get down to the deeper meanings of life, and kind of understand it from a theological framework and biblical perspective, and so as we should as Christians.
So you feel pretty well grounded in what you've learned, how we've raised you.
Yeah.
But what I've learned through talking with Matthew is that there's a whole bunch of people that are searching, and we all do some searching.
Right.
In your time of life, I'm Generation X, he's Generation Z, and so that's what really intrigued me about this discussion, is the intergenerational dialogue that I don't always get exposed to. But you told me you go to a Christian college, and there's plenty of people that don't really have a grounding in the commandments or core principles,
right.
Kind of these first principles of their life.
Yeah, so people turn to a lot of different authors and self-help gurus, other leaders in the church or maybe another religion or something like that. So authors being like, or psychiatrists or psychologists like Jordan Peterson, people like Tony Robbins. If you're a little bit older generation, you might kind of get that reference, but Gary Vaynerchuk is another one in the business world that people turn to. So kind of like what they all preach, or similarly, is a lot of law. So it's all like, you have to do this in order for you to be successful, or something like that. And so I think a lot of people get caught up with that because there's no structure, and so then they gravitate towards this law, which probably isn't the best as far as making someone feel good about their life and kind of content with where they are as well. If you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think possibly what we're dealing with here is the fruit of a postmodern society that we've had for a number of years now, a number of decades. And so you have this construct that there aren't any absolutes, and perhaps in the home, parents raise their kids this way, where they get to decide what is true, and they get to decide if they should go to church or not,
right.
If they should be exposed to truth in that way. So the postmodern mantra is, there is no absolute truth. And even that's kind of an absolute. But that may be what the fruit of what we're dealing with, that they may not have had that structure in the home, or maybe there was some structure in the home, but certainly in their school and society, they're continually bombarded with who knows what is right, or your truth works for you. And so there may be this craving then for some sort of structure, something that's time tested, something that doesn't change with the winds of culture. Mm-hmm. And that may be the appeal for Jordan Peterson.
Sure. Yeah, kind of the, he has the famous thing saying, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed every day. Kind of you fix yourself before you can fix anything else, which is good advice. The problem with it is, kind of as you mentioned, is it can lead to despair or something of that nature, because it's all law in a way. It's all, you have to do this, this, and this in order for you to become the person you want or successful or something like that.
And his book is called?
The 12 Rules to Life. So once again, rules, almost like a 10 Commandments in a way, and he references that as well. So yeah.
So that's a good aspect there, if he's bringing in some aspect of God's truth in adopting his rules. But Gene Veith in his book Spirituality of the Cross talks about paths to God. Mm-hmm. And he outlines 3 paths. It wasn't his idea, he's just parroting it from where he's learned it too. But moralism, or speculation, or mysticism. And moralism would be the rules, right? The structure, the law, what we call law in the church. And live by these rules and things will go well, you'll be successful. The speculation is by greater knowledge, by finding the key principles, by learning more, that I may achieve some kind of contentment. And I'm not really sure whether Jordan Peterson's more on the moralism or speculation, mm-hmm. or both.
Yeah.
And then the third way is mysticism, which is popular of people. These are the tenets of Eastern religion, of meditation, of looking within, self-deification, becoming a god. So these are all paths that have been around a while, and they're just kind of recycled. And of course, what we understand is that God reveals His truth through Scriptures, mm-hmm. Through His Son.
Yeah. So that's kind of, a broader overview of what we're going to get into through further podcasts, kind of incorporate some current events, what we think about what's going on in the world. And so kind of just talk about all these different meanings, especially in a postmodernistic society we live in. Mm-hmm. It's difficult to discern what is actually true, because we do believe in absolute truth. And so there should be a foundation or a structure that things are put into, and not necessarily, well, I'm not so sure, or anything like that. But yeah.
I'm glad you're grounded.
Yeah.
In a good way, grounded in truth.
Right. Yeah, so everybody, thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. If you like this, go ahead and subscribe, give it a like, share it with a friend or neighbor you think might enjoy this as well. And until next time, we'll see you.